Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of 6 for 6. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I have changed my configuration yet again. So now we're back into our true home conditioning spot where we're going to be recording majority more of the 6 for 6 episodes coming to be in the future. Great to be back in this nice comfy gaming chair to get us started, as well as doing other podcast shows in the future. But to keep you things in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give a quick, announcements, my records, and then we'll get into tonight's program. So over on the Intergalactic Sports and Entertainment Network, they're having their first video game, I wouldn't say session, the first video game playthrough, and the game that they're playing is Jedi Fallen Order. So you can catch that right after 6 for 6. It starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, when you can catch the premiere of the first part of Star Wars Fallen Order on the Intergalactic Sports and Entertainment Network, where John Alcorn will be playing that game. Great game, fantastic playthrough. So make sure you get yourself on over there to watch him play that game. But now let's go over to my record. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing a little bit the same again. We went another 3 for 3 in our picking of our games. So that kind of puts my overall record to 37 and 35, very close to 500 again, ladies and gentlemen, very close to 500. So we got to see how we can improve upon that record and put us into that, upper echelon of getting, 40 games in our win column. That's what we got to do. But to start us off in tonight's program, we are going to go into the NBA Women's College Basketball Final Four and then the Men's College Basketball Final Four. So starting us off, we got in the 6th spot, we got the Dallas Mavericks versus the Bucks, Sunday, April 3rd, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC. Two teams out in, the NBA, the East and West. Teams looking really good between these two. But it's I would say, is an interesting matchup because Giannis Antetokounmpo, the last time I checked when I was building the script on the 28th, he was ruled day to day. So that may have an impact into this game on how much minutes he plays. Now, most of the Dallas Mavericks stars are going to be healthy, or a few players may be out here and there. But I think, the Bucks are going to be able to take care of business with Giannis being day to day. Hopefully he's fully recovered by Sunday. And as you can see, today is Wednesday. There's enough time in between for him to be healthy in that matter. So looking at the chances, looking at the records, the Mavericks are 46 and 29 compared to the Bucks record of 46 and 28. So roughly same record across the board. But ESPN has the Bucks winning with a 65% chance favorite to win this game. I'm going to have to agree with ESPN on this one, ladies and gentlemen, and have to agree with the Bucks taking care of business in this matchup. So we're going to have Bucks on this one. So you can catch this game on Sunday, April 3rd, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC. Next up in the 5th slot, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Suns and the Warriors tonight. Catch it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, after you watch, the Intergalactic Sports Network and Entertainment's, broadcast of playing Jedi Fallen Order. So right after that game play is concluded on their network, you can tune in the Suns and Warriors, some Western Conference action in the NBA. Two good teams, but ladies and gentlemen, the Warriors are still injury riddled. Klay Thompson is still ruled out. Draymond Green is still out. Otto Porter Jr. is still out. James Wiseman is still out. So a lot of people you could say the Warriors starting lineup have been out more likely than not. So very hurting their chances to win this. And even ESPN says they're not even favored. They have a 25% chance favorite to win the Warriors. I'm going to have to agree with the Suns with the 75% chance to win it. I'm going to have to go with them in this bracket. I think it's a no-brainer with so many people being injured on the Warriors. I'm sure the Warriors can hang in there and compete, but with so many superstars with them being out, I don't think this is going to be a close contest, but I could be wrong, but I doubt it. So I'm going to go with the Suns on this one. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, who we got in? Kirsty Wilson's tuning in, and she's picking the Suns as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we go into our Women's March Madness, the Final Four. I would say the Final Four matchups for both men's and women's I would say, is the most interesting that I've seen in a while, with teams being loaded as how they are, with history being the making. But we got to first start off in the women's section. With that, we got UConn, who was a 2 seed, versus Stanford, who was a 1 seed. And in Friday's matchup, April 1st, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, this is I would say, would be a future ESPN classic on our hands if the game goes to that direction. But last time UConn played, they were forced into double overtime against North Carolina State. So that kind of has me a little bit worried in this matchup against Stanford, since Stanford was taking care of business. They beat Texas by 9 points, who beat Ohio State by 1. So I'm not too reassured about that either between these two teams. But I think Stanford is going to be able to take care of business and defeat UConn. I know I'm picking against UConn, who is like, your classic old favorite, but it's like for UConn, it's a team that you can always count on to get to the Final Four, but it just depends on the given year if they can get to the finals. That's basically what it's equivalent to, how consistent that program is. And I know Stanford has a good team this year, and they only, ladies and gentlemen, I would say, only had 2 losses of the year for Stanford. So as you can see, this Stanford lineup is pretty solid from going in and out, and UConn had 6 losses this year about. So as I can say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trusting in Stanford to take care of business, but I wouldn't be surprised if Stanford falls short and UConn wins. And I want to see what Kirsty Wilson has to pick. She's picking Stanford, but wouldn't be surprised if UConn won. Yep, I agree with you on that, Kirsty Wilson. It's definitely going to be an interesting matchup from start to finish. All 4 quarters of solid action is definitely going to be a main event to watch. In the third slot is the 2 number 1 seeds in the bracket for women's, Louisville and South Carolina. I can tell you for a fact, ladies and gentlemen, this South Carolina team is nothing to mess around with. Only 2 losses of the entire year. Louisville has been up and down, but they were able to beat top quality opponents like Tennessee, Gonzaga, and Michigan, where South Carolina, they beat, Miami, North Carolina, and company along those lines. But the only 2 teams that we can see that they played against each other that was the same caliber was Miami, and Louisville lost to Miami, and South Carolina won. So I'm going to go with the upset and like the underdog in Louisville taking care of business, since they have obviously more losses, but this Louisville team is able to hang in with the best of the best in their field. So I'm going to have to go with Louisville with the upset over South Carolina, but I wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina dominates this game as they've been doing all year and get themselves into the finals. So that's what I think is going to end up happening, but I'm rooting for Louisville to take care of business and be able to pull this one out. And Kirsty Wilson is going to pick South Carolina on this one. And next up in the men's bracket, you got Villanova, which was a 2 seed, versus Kansas, who was a 1 seed in men's college basketball. Saturday, April 2nd at 6:09 p.m. Eastern, 3:09 p.m. Pacific on TBS, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely going to be something interesting here. But they have Villanova winning. I didn't put my pick in to figure out who's going to win, but I'm going to pick Villanova with the odds in their favor. But ladies and gentlemen, Kansas will outscore them. They score about 78-71. But looking at the stats, Kansas across the board is the better team. But I'm going to ride and die on this hill with Villanova. I think they're going to be able to find a way to win, but it's not going to be an easy task. Villanova was able to beat teams like Houston, Michigan, Ohio State. Kansas played Miami, Providence, who was a good team this year, only beat Providence by 5. But I'm more trusting in Villanova since they've been solid in all their matchups thus far in this season that they've been playing up against. I wonder what Kirsty Wilson has to say, and she's picking Villanova as well. So I'm definitely going to go with Villanova on this one. Nice, short, easy, and sweet matchup. And obviously, I think you should know what the number one game of the week is. It's North Carolina versus Duke, round 2. Back at it from such a short early time this season, basically almost a month ago. These 2 teams played at Duke, and Duke fell short and got embarrassed. Now you have your revenge tour and Coach K's speech at the end of that game saying, job is not done, basically. And now he has his opportunity again to face North Carolina. Can he live up to that expectation? Take care of business and deliver Duke to another finals appearance and win a title. I don't think it's going to be an easy road. It's definitely going to be an ESPN classic. I feel like it would complete his, 30 for 30 documentary the day that they make Coach K's, documentary on 30 for 30. This is the game that I would say seals his legacy. He has a great, fantastic legacy, but this game right here and next, if he wins and closing out the finals, I think that kind of seals his fate. But right here, this can be the nice final chapter, the swan song into Duke's campaign with Coach K taking him off to that sunset to win that title. And I'm going to go with Duke on this one. I don't need to go any stats or statistics. I have faith in Duke to take care of business and get them to that title. And I know Kirsty Wilson is saying she feels pretty conflicted here, but in the end, she's going to be picking Duke as well. Definitely a great matchup that we have. You can catch this game at 8:49 p.m. Eastern, 5:49 p.m. Pacific on TBS. Let me just do a quick recap with all the games that we have and all my picks, and we'll conclude tonight's program. Nice, short, and sweet, so I can get you guys over to the Intergalactic Sports Network and Entertainment for their showing of Jedi Fallen Order Part 1. So definitely tune in for that. Definitely going to be a fun thing to watch and enjoy as John Alcorn plays Jedi Fallen Order. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through our picks yet again. So in the 6th spot, we got the Mavericks versus the Bucks, Sunday, April 3rd, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC, and I have the Bucks winning this one. In the 5th slot, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Suns versus the Warriors tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. You can catch the Suns winning this game on ESPN for sure, so I like my odds on that one. In the 4th slot, we got women's college basketball in the Final Fours. UConn number 2 versus Stanford, who's the number 1 seed. In women's college basketball, you can catch this Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. And I have, ladies and gentlemen, I have Stanford winning this one. Now, with the next slot and the next 3 that I have coming up, I have South Carolina and Louisville women's college basketball, which is on Friday. You can catch that game 7 p.m. Eastern. Wow, I really screwed up that time. 10 p.m. Pacific. That is false, ladies and gentlemen. That should be 4 p.m. Pacific time. Deeply apologize for the confusion of the start time, but it is 7 p.m. Eastern, ladies and gentlemen, with that. Next up in the 2 slot, we got Villanova versus Kansas. I have Villanova winning it. You can catch this game Saturday, April 2nd, 6:09 p.m. Eastern, 3:09 Pacific on TBS. And the game of the week, ladies and gentlemen, is North Carolina, who's an 8th seed, versus Duke as a 2 seed. In men's college basketball, Saturday, April 2nd at 8:49 p.m. Eastern, 5:49 p.m. Pacific on TBS, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, remind you of my record. Last week, we went 3 for 3. Hopefully, we can get our 6 for 6 right. And obviously, our current record of this season is 37 and 35. Hopefully, that 35 stays there, but maybe we'll get 2 losses this week. But let's stay positive and make sure we win across the board. And the cap it off, remember, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune into the Intergalactic Sports and Entertainment Network to catch Jedi Fallen Order as John Alcorn plays that game, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely going to be something fun to watch. And last night, the Marvel dudes were on. So if you missed that, definitely rewatch that broadcast on their network. Definitely worth the while to invest your time into that network. Thank you so much for tuning in for 6 for 6. I'm glad that you're all enjoying tonight's program, and we'll catch you all on next week's episode for 6 for 6. That will be for all for tonight's program. So long for now. Bye-bye.